Hello friends, in this video we will discuss a method for performing a systematic review. I have already given a video on literature review and how to conduct a literature review, and this video is in continuation of that previous video. And in this we will look at the latest method of how a systematic review is to be performed and what are the checklists which are given in the standard statement which has been released. So this study, however, is mainly designed for a medical field, healthcare and medical studies, but it is equally applicable to all kinds of systematic reviews which are conducted. This method is known as the Prisma method. Its full form is Preferred Reporting Items for Systematic Reviews and Meta-Analysis. Now, wherever you want to write a systematic review in a given field, there is a checklist of items which you must take care of, and those items are given in the Prisma statement. You can see that this is the website of the Prisma statement, and here there are multiple documents which are available. These are all research papers, and first of all we have the Prisma 2020 statement. However, 2020 is not the year of release of Prisma. Prisma was originally released in 2009 and it keeps getting updated from time to time, and the latest version has been released in 2020. Then we have explanation and elaboration, that is again a separate paper. Then there is a Prisma checklist in which only the checklist is given. Then there is a diagram, flow diagram, which shows in a schematic manner that how the systematic review should be conducted. Then history, funding, and how to use Prisma in your paper, how to refer to Prisma in your paper. That citing information is available in the last link. Now let us look at the Prisma statement. This is the research paper which I have downloaded from clicking on the first link, that is Prisma 2020 statement. And as you can see, these are the authors. So the first author is Matthew J. Page. So that is the person importantly behind this, and then there are many other authors who are working with him on the Prisma statement. And coming directly to the checklist, which is of importance to all of us, you can easily download this paper and you can go through the contents. So I will straight away go to the checklist. So as you must have seen that the latest papers, research papers that are coming up related to reviews, they tell you about the databases which they have used and how many papers they originally downloaded, then how they selected some papers in their study and how they rejected the other papers or excluded the other papers, what were the search strings that they have used, and what are the filters that they applied. So a lot of detail is there in the review paper so that transparency can be established. Similarly, if you are comparing qualitative work of multiple authors, that is in which data is there, then how you have compared the different studies which might be heterogeneous in nature, whether there is any kind of bias in the study, or there was a bias in the evaluator's perspective, or there was any kind of bias which cannot be removed, or some things have been assumed in the study. So a lot of things have to be brought out in the systematic review under the Prisma 2020. So the title, it should reflect the systematic review in the title itself, so that the person will know that it is a systematic review. Then the abstract, there is a checklist of table 2 in which how the abstract is to be written, that is given. Then in the introduction, you will write about what is the idea behind the review, what are the objectives, questions, and what is the context of the existing knowledge that is there. That means what is already known, that has to be summarized, the main definitions have to be given, proper citation has to be given, and what are the questions that you are going to address in the review, that has to be made clear. Then the methods. In the methods, you have to give the eligibility criteria for each research paper that has been selected, why it has been selected, then what are the sources of information, that is what all databases, registers, websites, organizations, reference lists, or any other sources that you have used, what is the date of access, everything has to be mentioned. Then what was the search strategy, filters, keywords, those have to be mentioned. Then why the papers have been selected or rejected independently for each of them. If any automation tools were used for performing the selection process, that also has to be clearly mentioned, that who has selected, why they have selected, and how they have selected. Then data collection process, that means then how the reviewers or the people who are involved in the systematic review, they have collected the data from the reports, and if any automation tools were used, then how those data items they have been compared with each other, that has to be clearly mentioned. Then we have to study the risk of bias. If there was a bias in the reviewers there towards certain studies, then what are the effective measures like risk ratio and mean difference that can be used for the presentation of the results. Then we have the synthesis of the methods, that is what are the methods which are used to decide that the particular study will be included or excluded. And we have to prepare a table of synthesis, and we have to put everything in a very systematic manner. And if there are heterogeneous studies, then what are the various subgroups which exist between the studies, and sensitivity analysis of the study selection and rejection method, and the various data that have been collected has to be performed. Then we have the reporting bias assessment. That means if there was any bias in the reporting, then that has to be determined. Then similarly, we have the certainty of the assessment, then the study selection method, study characteristics, then risk of bias in the studies, results of individual studies, how they are comparing, how to synthesize them, then reporting biases if authors were biased towards certain theories, then discussion, that is the results in the context of other evidence, how the interpretation has been done, then limitations of evidence, then limitation of the review process, then limitation of the result for practice, policy and future, and implications, what it will have the effect on the future study. And similarly, we have the registration and protocol. Many checklist items have been given. Then competing interests, availability of data, and code of other materials. So as you can see that there are so many points, around 27 points have been mentioned, which is a checklist for performing the systematic review. Similarly, if we click on the other link, then we will get hold of the explanations and the elaboration. So when you click on this link, then you have the BMJ open access link over here, and you have examples also of good reporting. So when you click on this, it will take you to the research paper related to elaboration of each of the points which are mentioned. So as you can see here, we can get the PDF from here. Again, the author is Matthew J. Page, and we can get the, I think it will load in some time. Yes, it is loaded. So as we can see here, it is the explanation and elaboration page, and if we go down, we can see the explanations for each of the Prisma points which have been mentioned in the statement. See, each item wise, this is item 6 explanation, and similarly we have an explanation for each of the items which are there in the Prisma list, that what each of the items are meaning. So if you make use of this Prisma list and you perform the review process, then it is going to be a systematic review, and there are high chances of good journals selecting your review paper. So I hope this video is helpful to you, and I will keep coming up with more videos which I think will be useful to you in your research work. And thank you very much.